Kansas City Memorial Hospital was a place of both hope and heartbreak. On the third floor, in a small, sterile room, 22-year-old Ethan Walker lay quietly, staring at the ceiling. The beeping of monitors was his only company. Ethan, a freelance mechanic and the eldest of 3 siblings, had spent the last 6 months battling a severe congenital heart defect. The doctors had been clear. Without surgery, Ethan's time was running out. But the procedure, costing a staggering $150,000, was out of reach. Ethan had no health insurance, and his family's small savings had already been drained by initial medical costs. His mother, Linda, worked double shifts at a diner, while his younger siblings juggled school and part-time jobs to contribute what little they could. Yet, their collective effort had barely scratched the surface of the medical debt. Ethan's room was sparse, save for a few pictures taped to the wall, family photos, and a small note from his youngest sister Lily that read, "Don't give up, Ethan." He would often stare at the note, willing himself to stay strong for her. But as days turned into weeks, his optimism began to wane. Ethan's family had tried everything. They launched a GoFundMe page, organized car washes, and even held a bake sale in their tight-knit community. The local news ran a small segment on Ethan's story, hoping to garner support. The headline read, "A young man's fight for life, Kansas family seeks miracle." Despite the community's efforts, they had only managed to raise a fraction of the required amount. One evening, Linda sat by Ethan's bedside, her face etched with worry. "We're not giving up, Ethan," she said, gripping his hand. "We'll find a way." Ethan nodded weakly, but deep down he wasn't so sure. "It's okay, Mom. Maybe it's just not meant to be," he whispered, his voice breaking. Little did they know, someone far beyond their circle of friends and family was about to read their story. That same week, Warren Buffett, one of the most respected businessmen in the world, was in Kansas City for a philanthropy summit. Despite his wealth and influence, Buffett was known for his unassuming demeanor and deep commitment to helping others. While flipping through the local newspaper in his hotel room, Buffett's eyes landed on the headline about Ethan. Intrigued, he read the story, his expression growing somber as he absorbed the details of the young man's plight. "This shouldn't happen," Buffett murmured to himself. He reached for his phone and made a quick call to his assistant. "Find out everything you can about this family in the hospital," he instructed. Within hours, Buffett was on his way to Kansas City Memorial. When Warren Buffett arrived at the hospital, he requested a meeting with Ethan's doctor and the hospital's administration. After a brief conversation, he asked to meet Ethan and his family directly. As Buffett stepped into Ethan's room, the young man looked up, puzzled. Linda, who was seated by the bed, immediately recognized him. "Mr. Buffett," she gasped. Buffett smiled warmly and extended his hand. "Please, call me Warren. I read about your story and wanted to see how I could help." Ethan struggled to sit up, his weak frame betraying his usual pride. "You're Warren Buffett? Why would you care about someone like me?" Buffett pulled up a chair and sat down. "Because I was once a young man in this city, just like you. And because I believe no one should have to choose between their health and their future." Over the next hour, Ethan and his family shared their story. Buffett listened intently, his eyes softening as Ethan spoke about his dreams of one day opening his own auto repair shop. "I just wanted to build something of my own," Ethan said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But now, I just want to live." The following morning, the hospital administration received a call from Buffett's office. The message was simple but transformative. Warren Buffett would personally cover Ethan's medical expenses, including the surgery, post-operative care, and any additional costs. When the news reached Ethan and his family, there were tears of disbelief. "Is this real?" Linda asked the doctor, clutching her chest. "It's real," the doctor replied with a smile. "Warren Buffett has given Ethan a second chance." The surgery was scheduled immediately. As the day approached, Ethan found himself overwhelmed with gratitude and nerves. Before he was wheeled into the operating room, Buffett visited him one last time. "You're going to be fine, Ethan," Buffett said, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "And when you're back on your feet, promise me one thing." "What's that?" Ethan asked. "Pay it forward someday," Buffett said. The surgery was a success. As Ethan recovered, Buffett continued to check in, often calling Linda to ask about her son's progress. The community, inspired by Buffett's generosity, rallied around the Walker family, offering meals, transportation, and moral support. Ethan's recovery was slow but steady. With each passing day, he grew stronger, fueled by a newfound sense of purpose. He began writing down ideas for his future auto shop, sketching out designs and business plans. 6 months later, Ethan was back on his feet. At a small gathering organized by the hospital, Ethan stood before a crowd, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "I don't have the words to thank Mr. Buffett for what he's done," he said, "but I promise to honor his kindness by living a life that gives back to others." Buffett, seated in the front row, smiled and gave Ethan a thumbs up. Years later, Ethan opened his own auto repair shop, aptly named Second Chance's Garage. A portion of his profits went toward a fund that helped others in need of medical care. Ethan often told his customers the story of how a stranger's kindness had saved his life. As for Warren Buffett, he continued his philanthropic work, always guided by the belief that wealth was meant to uplift others. When asked about Ethan's story in an interview, Buffett simply said, "It wasn't about the money. It was about giving someone a future they deserved." The plaque in Ethan's shop read, "In gratitude to Warren Buffett, a man who reminded me that kindness has the power to save lives." And so, a young man's fight for survival became a testament to the enduring impact of compassion and generosity. Thank you for watching this heartfelt story. It's a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples that change lives. Warren Buffett's generosity didn't just save a life, it inspired a legacy of giving. Let's carry this spirit forward by helping those around us, one good deed at a time. Together, we can make a difference. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to spread more stories of hope and humanity.